Educate. Celebrate. Connect. Arizona Hispanic Connection.
Welcome to AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. We have a very, very good and very important topic today. The topic is Anti-Fraud Network. Join it. Anti-Fraud Network. Join it. And we have a special guest, Lucia Arteaga from the Attorney General's office. I will introduce her in just a bit. Before I do, let me remind you that all our radio shows are Facebook Live. That means that if you do Facebook, you can actually go to AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. You will find us, and then you can join the live show. And if you prefer to watch the video later, at a later time in the evening, in the afternoon, tomorrow, whenever, the video will be there. It will be recorded and it'll remain on the page until I decide to take it out, but I'm not planning to take it out, so it'll be there. I also wanted you to know that if you visit our Facebook page at AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection, we are promoting another, well, it's the same movie that we promoted last week, a Salma Hayek movie, Beatrice at Dinner. Beatrice at Dinner. It's a movie. Last time we were at Westgate in Glendale. This Saturday we will be at Metro Center, and you will find all the information again on our Facebook page, AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection, and you need to register. So please do register. So that we can have you on our system, so that when you go and watch the movie, we can check you in easily. But if for whatever reason you couldn't register, we still have space for you to join us. Again, it's a Salma Hayek movie this Saturday at Metro Center. Next week we'll show it again, but it'll be at another city. I'm not going to mention it so I don't confuse people. All right. So again, the topic today is Anti-Fraud Network. Anti-Fraud Network, join it. We're actually asking you to join this anti-fraud network, right? So, Lucia, thank you so very much again for joining our show. I know that you are busy. You are the Hispanic Outreach Coordinator for the Arizona Attorney General.
That's right.
Now
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Welcome. You said off the air, you told me that you have been working for the AG for now 6 years.
Yes, a total of 6 years
That's amazing.
now.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's including my internship. So,
Of course.
But of course, I have to include it. I have to.
Yeah. So this 6 years, it's in the same capacity as a Hispanic Outreach Coordinator?
Not always, actually. I actually used to work in the healthcare fraud and abuse section for the office. And then right after that, I did go into community outreach, but I was actually an office administrator. And that's when I got some exposure doing some of the outreach and education side of it. And then later on, I was promoted to Hispanic Outreach Coordinator.
Now, this is the Arizona Attorney General. I understand that there was some Hispanic outreach before you got on board, right?
That's right. There was a little bit there. Yeah, we had a gentleman called T-Sock. Or T-Sock. Yeah, we used to have him. He did some of the Hispanic outreach, and he was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So have you seen an enhancement, if you will, of the Attorney General making an effort to make the services and programs and information more accessible to the Hispanic, let's say the monolingual, right? The ones that prefer Spanish. Have you seen an enhancement of the work of from the Attorney General's office?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I think it shows that me being here, that it is important to have the Spanish side outreach as well, so everyone can or at least more people can have the same message as English speakers do. Our website, people can go on there and they can translate the browser, so they can also have access to that information. And then a lot of the sections, including the consumer information complaint section, we do have bilingual people there available as well, which just makes it easier and more comfortable for people to call in when they do suspect that they've been a victim of fraud.
Right. I have a few questions, and you and I are going to review some of the common scams, that are continue to come
Right.
or to hit our communities. Before I get into the questions, I would like to just read a couple paragraphs that I wrote here. Fraud and scams is a topic that never goes away. They keep coming. New scams, old ones, refurbished ones. I even use that word, refurbished one. And then the topic today is anti-fraud network. Join it. AARP has a robust campaign against fraud and scams, and as part of this effort, you can sign up to receive fraud alerts via email. This is very important. That's why we named this show Anti-Fraud Network. Join it.
That's
because
great.
you can go to our Facebook, our web page, actually, web page, and sign up to receive alerts. It's very simple. In so doing, you will join an anti-fraud network. You will not only receive alerts about new scams, but you will also be able to share your knowledge and experience, in this case on the negative side, right, on this matter with others. Visit www.fraudwatchnetwork.org. Again, www.fraudwatchnetwork.org, and sign up. You can also find us on Facebook at AARP Fraud Watch Network. So this is very important. I really like this aspect of our campaign, the Fraud Watch Network, in that if folks want to receive email alerts, they can sign up, and I get them all the time. I mean,
That's great.
obviously I work for ARP, so I better get them, right?
Absolutely.
Do you have any similar system with the AGs?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
would you
we
tell
do.
us about
Thank
it?
you for asking. In fact, if people want to receive any of the press releases where, they can find out a lot about many cases, in fact, where we talk about who we prosecuted, people who, like some of the cases that I think I sent you where they were scamming Spanish-speaking communities, and people can sign up on our website, azag.gov. But aside from that, we also have a program with community outreach and education where, very similar, they can receive some of our fraud alert cards, or scam alerts is what we really call them. And we have 12 as of right now, but we're working on creating new ones because, like you said, some of these scams are old scams, just, with technology, they kind of change it just slightly. So we're trying to get more of those cards. And if people want to sign up, they can also just visit our website, azag.gov, and sign up to get those scam alerts.
Perfect. Another question, or the next question, I guess, that I would like to follow up with is, in the years that you've been working for the Attorney General in your efforts to serve the Spanish-speaking, primarily Spanish-speaking community, and by the way, les aviso que vamos a tener esta misma información a la 1:30. A la 1:30 tenemos el mismo programa en español, así es que no se lo pierda. So when you in the times that you've been with the AG, what have you, as part of your work and in conjunction with the AG's office, have you developed in terms of services for the Hispanic community? I know that in the past you and I had conversations about a Facebook page.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about the Facebook page and any other efforts that you have been able to come up with and offer to the community?
Sure. So as you may be aware that I'm in the community, like I'm inside the community, because we have presentations where we talk to anyone in the public, and including kids, about various topics. Just to name a few, we talk about suicide, human trafficking, internet safety, and, scams as well, just to name a few. And I noticed that the Spanish-speaking community did not know who the Attorney General was or what he even does. So I made sure that everyone across Arizona, starting with the schools, that those programs were available in Spanish. So I'm the one who does those. But at the same time, just in order to outreach to even more people, I decided to create a Facebook page where they can feel comfortable, where it's a place just in Spanish. So that Facebook page is called En Conexión con el Procurador, and they can find us online on Facebook with just searching Procurador Arizona. And it's, sometimes I put press release, sometimes I put on how to protect yourself with a certain type of scam, or also addressing the parent audience, right? How to protect your children online. So aside from that, I've also tried to have made connections with different media outlets just to get the information out to them in that capacity as well.
Got it. Not that we're going to address the issue of human trafficking, but the AG, from what I understand, and I have been able to see on the social media primarily, the AG's office it's going or is addressing this. How big of a problem is human trafficking? Just briefly.
So unfortunately, it is an old problem. It is an old problem, but thankfully the word has been getting around that it is modern day slavery. So I believe, and I don't want to tell you a number, but since 2015, and I'll have to get you that number later, but the number of cases that we have prosecuted and just simply received, I mean, it's great that we have prosecuted some of those cases, and have had some success there, but it is just a sad reality that they even exist in the first place, right?
Right.
But we're also doing the preventative side, teaching kids and parents on how to even prevent it and just kind of get them aware to and trying to get them familiar to recognize some of the signs.
So you, from what I gather, do you go to schools to do presentations?
Correct.
And
yes.
how does that work at school? Does the administration at the school invite you, and then they get them where, at the gym or in big numbers or in classrooms?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So we could do it in big classrooms. We usually do it in a gym, and sometimes it's individual classrooms. Really, however the person who's requesting these workshops, however they want
Right.
them, whatever capacity the room has. But typically we send out a mailer to every single school in Arizona, letting them know about our free programs. And this year is actually the first year where we didn't have to do that, because nowadays they call us back every single year. They know what we do already, or it's word of mouth.
Got it.
So that also just kind of shows how that the information is getting out there, and that they find these programs so useful and important that they continue to call us back.
Good. Now, just before we get into more questions specifically about some common scams that we would like to address, you've been with the AG's office for 6 years now. So how, in obviously, you've acquired a deeper understanding of what the AG's office is all about. What would you like the audience to think about, to know when the name Attorney General comes to mind? What is it that you want the community to be mindful of?
Sure. Well, I want them to know that be informed, stay informed, go on our website, see how we can help you. If you have any questions, any doubts about what we do at all, just give us a call. Just, use us. We are a resource and we want to be able to help them. If by any chance we cannot help them with a case, we could at least refer them to the correct agency.
So basically, if they suspect of fraud, just name 2 or 3 areas that the audience needs to be mindful. It could be something related to human trafficking, fraud.
Even, just to kind of tell you some of the topics that we do again: human trafficking, scams, suicide, vaping, which is a big problem right now.
I saw that on your Facebook page.
Yes.
So you address that. How do you address vaping?
Yeah. So we first explain the history, how they came about, which they've only been in the U.S. since about 2010. And then we kind of show parents or students like the way that they have changed and evolved, because they look very different today. And then we talk about what the liquid really contains and what some of the issues, and we even named too how many people have died or have had an illness in regards to vaping, related to vaping.
Right. You know, I've come across perhaps five cases or 5 times where I'm driving on the freeway, and it's unbelievable the amount of smoke that
Yeah.
comes out of those things, huh?
Yes.
It's
And
amazing.
and here's the thing: the person that you are probably referring to, these are most likely adults,
Mm-hmm.
and the younger kids, or just youth, really,
Right.
they are using different type of vaping devices, which are salt based, which you won't typically see the cloud, so it's easier to hide, and that's scary because parents who are trying to keep an eye out, it's going to be harder for them to know what their kid has in their backpack, because a lot of times these devices also look like a USB, and they
Right,
usually
right.
don't have a scent.
And I don't know if you have this information, but I once went to a presentation, if you will, and they said that there is like an equivalence of, if you use vaping, I don't know what they're called, cartridges or what.
It's cartridges. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
cartridges.
if
That
it's
is the equivalent of I don't know how many cigarette boxes.
20 cigarettes, which is one pack.
One pack of
Yeah.
cigarettes is the equivalent of one. What is it called again?
The Juul. So Juul is a brand that is unfortunately super common with young kids, with youth.
Right.
And they've only been around since 2015. The only marketing that they've done is using social media. So you could just imagine who's usually online, right?
Right,
Again,
right.
kids. And one of their cartridges for their device is equivalent to one normal a pack of 20 cigarettes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. And is that? Is the problem getting worse, or do you think it's? Or I mean, are we getting a handle of the issue, or not? Not quite.
Well, lately, I've heard from SROs, which are the school resource officers, that sometimes they don't even realize, or after we show them the program, they didn't even know that a watch or a hoodie can also be a vaping accessory. So I think right now what we're tackling is just the awareness part,
Got it.
right? And unfortunately, this is such a new problem that we still have to figure out the negative effects that this is going to have
Right.
on everybody
Right,
as a
right,
community, especially.
right.
It is a public health concern, unfortunately. It is. And I've heard that there are some pens that have been found with fentanyl. I don't know if that's going to continue to be a problem that's rising, but it is something that I have currently heard. And as you know, fentanyl, you can have an overdose with just such a small amount. Yeah.
Incredible. One of I want to remind you that are listening and watching via Facebook that if you would like to receive fraud alerts from AARP, you can visit the website. It's it's www.fraudwatchnetwork.org. Again, www.fraudwatchnetwork.org. And there's just a little to the right of the page, you'll see there that you can sign up to receive the alerts, and you'll get them. And anything new that comes up, you'll get those notices via email. And would you mind repeating again, Lucia, how they can also connect to the AGs to receive such alerts?
Absolutely. They can receive our press releases as well as our scam alerts visiting our page at www.azag.gov.
We only have time to review a couple of scams. You mentioned that the online romance scam is still hidden, huh?
It is, and unfortunately, it is a common scam on the rise too. We are seeing many more of these cases.
So people, perhaps they are divorced. They may be looking for a mate. They could be single. They go online. They sign up. I assume there's many places that they can sign up, and they start basically giving their information and to do a kind of a matching. Correct? Is that how it works?
Yeah. So there are many sites out there. Just to name a few, there's Match.com, PlentyOfFish.com, Tinder, and there's also dating sites these days that are for teens. So just imagine, and this can happen on any of these sites, of the ones that I've mentioned and others as well. I mean, there's so many out there. But there was a case that that occurred between 2013 and 2016. His name, Daylon Pierce. He actually did manipulate a lot of people, about 15 people at least, and now he is in prison for stealing thousands of dollars from women in an online dating scam.
Wow. Do we
Yeah.
know if this is a scam that hits Latinos at all? Are there
This-
numbers or
So I don't have or seen any numbers exactly, not to say that there aren't any, but I mean, this is literally hitting anyone from young people to anyone up to like 90 years old. I believe in this case specifically, one of the victims was 90 years old, and the youngest person was 65 years old.
right?
So yeah.
Yeah, and imposter scams?
Imposter scams, yeah. I mean, those are always ongoing, especially right now. It's good to mention that it is tax season. So be very careful. One of the things that I would say is do your taxes as soon as you can. As soon as you can, because if your information is out there, they're going to try to get your that IRS check, that tax check, right before you file. So also don't believe anyone who's calling you, telling you that you did your taxes wrong and that now there's a search warrant or they're going to arrest you. Do not believe that.
Right.
If you have any doubts, please call the IRS directly. Do not use the number that they gave you. Go on their website, make sure it ends in .gov, G-O-V, just to make sure it is the right website, and call that number and contact someone.
Right. Are they still calling people saying that they are from the IRS? I assume that's still going, especially
are.
tax season, right?
Exactly, especially right now. So that's just one side of that tax scam. The other side is make sure that whoever you are hiring to prepare taxes, make sure that they not only have a good reputation, it's okay to ask for references, call them, see how they did, or just simply do an online search. Search on Google if you have to, or whichever browser you use, but make sure they are a legitimate company, someone that you can trust, because there also have been cases where, a certain tax preparer person was getting some of that amount.
And talking about taxes and filing, there are many programs in the U.S. that have services, free services to file for free. AARP has a tax aid program.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, and we have about 35,000 volunteers.
Nice.
35,000 volunteers nationwide. And they can help you file your taxes for free. All you have to
Very
do is
good.
go to the website, aarp.org, aarp.org, and just do a little search. Just type in tax aid or
Yeah.
taxes, even if you just do the search taxes, and it'll take you to a window where you're going to be able to input your zip code, and that's all you need. It'll give you all the sites that are around that zip code where you live. That way you don't have to drive long distances, and you can get your taxes for free and on a trustworthy service,
Good.
because it is very important that we pick out a preparer that is worthy of our trust, and that they are up to date, and they're not giving you they're not encouraging you to report things that are not true. So it's very, very
Exactly.
important. Once again, Lucia, the Facebook page.
Yes.
What's the name where folks can follow specifically your work?
Yes. So they can follow my page, or, on behalf of the Attorney General's office, Procurador Arizona. So
Procurador Arizona. They can do a
that's it.
little search on the Facebook, and it'll.
yes, that's how they find it, Procurador Arizona.
Perfect. And let me remind you that we are showing a free movie. This is part of what we do on behalf of AARP to serve Hispanic Latinos here in Arizona. We are offering free movies. We are offering lunch and learns where we invite you to enjoy a meal, and we have a good speaker addressing a very relevant topic, specifically as it relates to our community. We also have painting events. painting events, and we'll be having one a month for the remainder of the year, pretty much with the exception of August. So I really encourage you to follow our Facebook page, AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection. We will be posting and promoting every single thing that we do on that page. And let me give you my phone number if you don't do Facebook, and just send me a text or call me and I'll be able to help you. 480-414-7637, 480-414-7637. This is the end of our show. Lucia Arteaga, Hispanic coordinator or Hispanic outreach coordinator for the Office of the Attorney General. Lucia, thank you so very much once again. It's always great to have a bilingual person from the Attorney General's office addressing our community. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And are you ready for the Spanish show now?
Let's do it.
Perfect. We're just going to close this show, and we'll be right back to do the Spanish. Have a great day. This was AARP Arizona Hispanic Connection.